Okay. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, there we are. Finally. Hey guys, got a little chat going on. Hey, I wanted to get in touch with you today. I think everything's working, so I just wanted to get back to you. And I just wanted to tell you about what's going on. Sunday we had to get together, and Melody came out a little bit, and then I kind of went into a rant. So I wanted to get back to you, and I wanted to just calmly explain a few things that I wanted to put down for the record, that it will always be known, and and for now, this is my particular stand on some of the issues that are happening worldwide, and especially in the States right now. I'm very interested in what's going on there because I have quite a few friends who are there now and worldwide, and I guess the best thing to do is to record it and share it with the world. I have nothing to hide, and I want to be very clear on some of the issues. I am doing YouTube videos, and you know how people take some of your videos and they just do things with it that you didn't necessarily say. So this is a video from me to you tonight that's very clear. I hope you will catch it in some fashion, shape, or form. But because I'm kind of wrapping up my talks on some of the political matters that are happening in the states, and a lot of the turmoil and a lot of the unrest and stuff. I really wanted to be very clear on it, and I wanted to tell you a few things that you should really, really, really look into. So, without further ado, it's Monty's chat. As you can see behind me, I have a picture of Black Lives Matter, and a lot of the protests have been initiated and led by this particular group. I don't want to label it as any particular kind of violent group, or they have been quite violent, or and they are very strong in some of their political beliefs. And I would just like to say very clearly to you, my friends at YouTube, and that a lot of my friends worldwide can see my stance on all these issues. And first of all, Black Lives Matter. I'm not in agreement with you, Monty. I've I do care about Black lives, but some of the things that I'm a little kind of, I would say, confused about by you, and it doesn't seem that you are actually promoting Black Lives Matter in its totality, in every form, fashion, shape, or form. And one of the things I wanted to say, these protests and the things that you're doing, I'm not very happy about it, and I don't think it's really the best way to do it. But that's my opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion of how things should be done. But I thought I'd like to throw that out and hope the things out today, in hopes that if some of you are listening to this, especially some of you leaders and your higher ups above you guys, if they really care, I wanted to bring this out. One of the first things I want to say clearly, without unequivocally, without any doubt, is I believe that if you're going to do a march and if you're going to protest for Black lives, their lives to be spared, and if it's like a real protest against the police and the policing system in America, I do agree that sometimes it's been really tough for Black Americans. I don't like to say African Americans. I'm an American. Black Americans, because nobody's in Africa anymore in America. You're in America, so just like go around saying what European Americans. I don't think I've heard that very much from European Americans, but just Americans. It's the same. The people who come there. We came quite early with the Europeans. You guys brought us over there, and we've been over there, and we've come to stay. We don't have any links with Africa, really. We don't, other than like you. we came to the new world, and some of you came with your hopes and your dreams, and you fulfilled them. But in our particular case, we were brought there against our will. In many cases, some did come voluntarily, but I say the vast majority of African Americans were brought there against their will. But anyway, get back to the Black Lives Matter. First of all, I'd like to say, if you're protesting against the situation of the African Black American in America, it would be nice if it could be just really that. Because it seems like it's been hijacked, the protests, into so many other things. And the people that are protesting are not really black. They're not. And it's nothing wrong with other people who want to stand up to further the black agenda of trying to improve life for black Americans and people of color. But first of all, I want to say, I don't see how protesting against the police and wanting police reform in America has anything to do with gay rights. I just be clear about it. If you are gay and you have certain sexual preferences, I would like to say that's your right. You can do whatever you like, even before God. That's your thing. I don't think it's the best, and it doesn't seem, according to the Bible, that it's the best. And it didn't seem, and far as scientifically, the Bible's very clear. He made them male and female. There's no male. It's just male and female. So if you're looking from a biblical standpoint of view, that's pretty much how I stand on that. If you have preferences for your same sex, then that's your right. Because at the end of the day, when this life is over, and it looks like it's going to be very soon, you're the one that has to stand before God and give an account of what you did or didn't do with your body. That's your right. So I don't really see protesting for gay rights what that has to do really with Black Lives Matter. Like our lives matter, but far as we're not trying to promote a sexual lifestyle. So just protesting for using that, I kind of feel it was kind of hijacked the protests against police brutality in America. And that's one thing I just don't agree with, and I will say that to all my friends. Also, if Black Lives Matter, being a black American, if Black Lives Matter, I don't see how in the world destroying private property of black people is furthering our cause and furthering the good, or promoting the good for black Americans. It just doesn't go together. If you're trying to help our people, let's say our people, look, I'm black American. I was born in South Carolina. No, I was born in Pennsylvania, grew up in South Carolina. And if you're trying to help our life, then why are you destroying our lives and destroying our way to support ourselves and to help our communities? And nowadays we don't barter, and we definitely don't trade. So we use money in our economical way of living, and we use money. So how in the world do you expect us, our lives, our black lives, to improve and be able to sustain our black lives if you destroy our way of income, if you destroy our communities, and if you burn down our businesses and cause us to go in debt, which I'm sure many African Americans did go in debt trying to reestablish their businesses. The COVID-19 did a job on most of us there, or hurt us all financially. So burning down our black businesses and our black community centers and And even the police department is not really helping. And it's you can see the results. I'm very tired of all the insane thinking that people are promoting nowadays, like insanity. You see something's really what it is, and we're supposed to overlook it and say that that's not really that. We're lying. It's a lot of lies going on. So I think you're lying a lot to the Black African or the Black American community, and you're not really concerned about Black lives. Also, I would just like to say a political statement. I would like to say if you're really there because of politics, because you don't want Trump to win in the next election, and are your white superiors, which they are in these marches and egging you on to do these stupid things. That I don't really see that helping the Black community or really helping Black lives. It's really kind of sad. You have Black Lives Matter, but how can you be so hypocritical, saying that you are concerned about Black lives by destroying our property, by destroying our income, by destroying our community's policing system? I would say in a lot of cases it seems that many of the police in these areas are Black. I would venture to say in the really heavy, predominantly Black areas, and they have a few white policemen, I believe. You can look it up. But I don't feel that you're helping the Black community whatsoever by destroying our communities and destroying our livelihoods. And it's very evident by looking at the news. Okay, let's be honest. The news always has their biases, and they're always giving us part of the news. I really don't like opinions, but I would like to just hear what actually happened. But Black Lives Matter, shame on you. Sorry, you just shamed yourself. Also, I've already brought out in some of my other videos that everybody's like Trump. I feel so, it really comes across, let's say you're not American and you're just watching the news. It really comes across that Trump has caused 200 years of racism and bigotry in America, and is the sole culprit that's causing the big division and perpetrating all the atrocities that has happened to Black Americans in America. But having known Trump for many years, having lived in New York and seen what he's done for a lot of Black people, I am totally in disagreement with you when it's saying that Trump has caused all this racial this and racial that. I would venture to say that about 70% of what people say against Trump are lies. I don't care about Trump, that he's the president. It's okay. He looks like he's doing a pretty good job to me, and I don't care about who Hillary or Biden or whatever, or Obama. But it's just, I do believe in fairness, and I do believe in the truth, and a lot of the things that are coming out in the mainstream media are just lies. It's not rocket science. You can see if somebody's just saying a lie. I've known Trump for over 30 years, in and out of New York. I've lived there with my family there, and I've watched him and looked at many of his. I didn't really watch that TV show that ran for a while with him that much. The Apprentice, that's what it was. But the guy's a businessman, and it doesn't seem like he's so worried about it. All these other things that they're saying about him, and it looks like he's doing a pretty good job, as far as I can see. And he does his little 4 years, da, 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 like I always say. You do your little 4 years, da 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 da, and you're out. You don't have to worry about Trump anymore. So all this uproar, and it seemed like he must be doing a pretty good job, because I've never seen so many people vehemently against a president, and every single thing in the news media is just negative, which is not logically. It's not. If you have a rational mind, look. Even Lincoln said, "You can please some of the people some of the time, and most of the people most of the time, but you cannot please all the people all the time." But it seems he doesn't please, according to the news media, he doesn't please anybody at any time, which is a lie. Anybody with a rational mind can see that the man is doing his best. He's trying to do what he can, and I think he's done a wonderful job so far. I really do. Of course, as far as presidents go, so it's just another white man running this country. And like I said, I saw the Breakfast Club one morning, and I saw this guy. He really old timer. He worked during the civil rights movement, and I have that on some of my other videos, where he was very articulate in his speech, and he was he clearly explained the plight of black Americans, why we're so behind. We have no financial power. We weren't brought here as many of the settlers, or came here as many of the settlers did when they were given land, and they were given the right to have livestock, but we came here as possessions of white people. We did. And he explains it so eloquently. I'll find that for you, and I'll put it up another time. But I did speak about that already in one of my videos. I have to check it out. And it was just awesome. He said it so clear. We have no land. We don't own anything, hardly. And looks like you guys did a pretty good job of burning up a lot of our businesses. So I think you guys are liars. You don't care about black lives. And many of these people who are marching with you only care about their gay rights, or they care about the political race that will be happening soon in the next few months. And they don't really care about black lives. It just seems like a vehicle to promote their grievances or their problems. Also, that's my biggest grief. So, and the biggest thing is the violence, because, like I said in one video, if you tear down a building or blow up a building, and the people they just put up another one, and it doesn't really change anything. So it would be really, really advantageous if you all would really stop being hypocrites and really care about Black Lives Matter. Care about these hundreds of people who are killed, thousands of black people who are killed by other black people every year in Chicago and New York and in Washington or around the country. Why don't you start protesting about and protesting to the police to change the situation of black lives killing other black lives? So I just think you guys are a bunch of hypocrites, and I think you need to cut it out. Stop being that. Another point that I wanted to bring, here's a few ideas. Because it doesn't seem you guys are thinking. Why don't we all start, like African Americans, if we could work out some way we could start pooling the little funds we do have to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, you might say, and start our own programs, and not, oh, Mr. White Man, please help me. Please tell me help me out here. When I think that we could help our own selves in a lot of these situations. And these black leaders who are being paid off by all these other politicians and stuff, politicians and other agencies in America. How about let's really help Black America? Let's really get together and have some real dialogues amongst ourselves. And I tell you what, if you're a white politician or leader or something, give us a place to have the meetings, or facilitate us having these kind of dialogues with ourselves. Then we can come back to the other rulers of the country, the politicians, or the people that people have voted for, and really share some real ideas to really make a difference. Because, okay, like I say, you can see my gray hairs. Oh man, since the 50s, I've been hearing the same thing, and it just seems like it's only gotten worse. After Dr. Martin Luther King passed away, it seems like we just lost. It is, but we improved in a lot of ways, and we got to be able to go to a lot of the white institutions and spend our money in a lot more white businesses and further their agenda of making money and living better while we are not investing in our own communities. And Black Lives Matter have destroyed a lot of our businesses and disrupted our way of living to making, as many of us have been trying to do. You disrupted it with your violence and your looting and your burning. So you're just not with it. And the political system that you were fighting for, it's a pretty good idea. Communism is a pretty good idea if everybody would share. But it seems like in most cases, all we're sharing is the poverty. Sorry, it just seems like that. And it's just another system of man that just seems to turn to dust. So the next point is moving right along. So that's some of the things. And do some marches to stop black on black crime if you really care about black lives. I mean, it breaks your heart to see little 3-year-old murdered with his father in a car. And also the music that a lot of you have promoted just seems to promote violence and degradation. Like the way we talk about ourselves, like that whole, and all the bitches and all the other stuff that when people talk. Okay, I know it's a form of slang and it's a form of communicating in the 21st century, but it seems to be very degrading of our people and very degrading of our women. And I do believe that a lot of the ways that we're being led around by our nose, by other evil. And let me make this very clear. I love all of God's children, but there's an evil gangs of white people who are leading you folks, you little Black Lives Matter groups around by the nose. And it's just very discouraging to see that we're still slaves being led around by these evil white people. I'm not talking about all white people, don't get me wrong, and I'm saying it very clearly. I'm saying evil people who don't care about God, people who don't really care about humanity, only selfish dog-eat-dog elite, and most of them are white people. I don't have any beef against white people. I love so many people. I have so many friends that are white, and my own kids have married other people of other races, and some of them are white. I appreciate them. I love them, and I think my kids made good decisions with the people that they decided to marry and be with, and it's their right. I don't have anything against it, but I do believe there is a group of evil elite white people. So, and I believe that many black Americans are following that crowd too much. There's nothing wrong with education, but some of these professors and which they're with their social sociologists and with their PhDs and their doctorates in some of these universities are really horrible, and they are leading our people, to destruction. And I wish and pray with all my heart that some black youths and young people will wait a minute and realize, wait a minute, something's not right. My life isn't any better. And dressing up and going out and say, hey, I mean, I've seen the videos where some of these professors or white people tell some of these black kids, go in there and break that window and take things out. And just they're just still being we're still, and I don't understand why some black people can't understand that we're still being manipulated or controlled or told what to do by these evil white people. Not all white people, but these particular evil. I said clearly. How clear can I say it? They're evil bunch. So I don't want to start ranting and raving. I just want to calmly explain some things and tell you, and in hopes that if people say it enough, maybe the kids will start realizing that their life isn't better. Look around. Look at your life. Look at what you're doing right now. Think about it when you're not out there trying to show off for these people and your friends. Hey, ask yourself, is my life any better? That's all. I'd like to say that without that it will be clear enough for anyone to understand. Also, the black on black crime is just totally ridiculous. It's just amazing how we can just destroy ourselves and let these people control us and destroy our people. We were once a people that were trying to fight for equality, and we were once trying to help our people and help each other, but we're only destroying ourselves and our communities right now, without a doubt. So I wanted to make that clear. I hope I was very clear on that. I hope it was understandable. I don't think I could explain it any other way. I could use a lot more more, let's say, complicated words. I'm just a civil guy, and it just, you can simply see it, and it's sad, really sad. Think about it, kids. Think about it. You other black people, stop being manipulated and controlled by this horrible, terrible group of insensitive, devilish people. I'll say that. What can I say? It's the truth. All right. So another point I wanted to bring out was the coronavirus. I would like to say very clearly, and you could hear it from me if you hear it for the first time, that this coronavirus is a man-made, genetically designed virus. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just fact. In nature, having been a biologist, and that was my major. That was my major in college. Anybody who's done a little bit of research and as a scientist, or let's say a biologist, I don't want to curse, that these viruses are not natural. And now that many researchers have done things in India, a lot of microbiologists have studied the virus and has clearly seen that it was designed, that this thing has tentacles and it actually can go into another cell, latch onto it, and cause the other cells to mutate and replicate itself. They replicate these viruses, and just so many mechanisms and things attached to these cells. It's not a natural thing. And being a creationist, God didn't design anything like that. I know we're really bad, and we pretty much destroyed a lot of the things on the planet, but there's no way that God designed a virus of such. And we are messing up his kingdom, messing up his design on certain things, and we're making a horrible mess of the planet. But thank God he's coming soon, and he's going to straighten it out. I know it sounds kind of simplistic, but it's just the truth. As time goes on, the more and more and more I see that God's word is true, and all these people are lying, and they are lying to us. And I feel so sad when I've seen who are well qualified biologists and people who study genetics, and they have done thorough researches into these matters, and they've seen that these things are not natural, and they're weaponized, designed viruses against humanity. You talk about atrocities against humanity. How could you design something like that to just for your own selfish, egotistical purposes? It's horrible. And sorry, you're going to have to give an account for that before the creator of the universe and our planet and everything in it and everything. You're going to have to give an account. And I'm sure some of you are going to end up in hell. I'm sorry. It's a bad thing to think about. And you might blow it off, but you're going to give an account for what you've done to humanity and what you're doing to all these poor of the world. Yep. And your plan is not the truth, and it's just not of God. I can't get around it. I don't want to soft speak this stuff and just make light of it. And I'm trying to calmly explain it because sometimes I get so worked up because it's just so horrible. But I have to have confidence in God that he knows what he's doing, and he's going to give you what you deserve, and he's going to balance all this stuff out and straighten it out. So this virus, as you can see behind me, is just totally ridiculous. And God's going to work it out. Look at this. Look at the tentacles on this thing. And it was designed. That's all I can say. And also, it's like a double whammy. You're bringing in your one world government. It's nothing wrong with the governments of the world when people use it to the advantage of mankind and for the good of mankind. But it seems like a very devilish, selfish, uncaring, unloving world that's being established, world government that's being established, full of deceit, full of lies, and full of just atrocities of mankind. I've watched all these leaders that have been prosecuted, and some were terrible, okay, dictators, but I've never seen a leader in the Middle East like Gaddafi or Saddam and all these other people that they tried. These people who were they just loved their people. They just happened to be rich. But they ran their country. At least the people had food to eat, and they were building infrastructure that made these people's lives better. You know what I mean? Like, I wish people would just look, when you look at the news, remember the truth. You know, you can see where it really was before and how people lived. I mean, when I think of Libya right now and the things that are going on in Libya, how Gaddafi did a wonderful job taking care of his people. And that was one of the leaders that I was very impressed with, that he took care of his people. He made sure they had housing. He made sure they had a good education, and he was doing a wonderful job. And you wicked world leaders came and destroyed this poor man. Yes, you did, and you're going to give an account for it, and what you've made a mess of Iraq, and trying to make a mess of Iran. Okay, like I said, I don't care about the capitalism or the communism or socialism. Who cares about some political system? They come and go. They do. But you can tell a real leader who really loves his people and really cares for them. And so far, I haven't seen any leaders from the Middle East who are designing viruses to kill their people. No matter how horrible some of them have been, I've seen them come and go. But I have never seen a thing like that people can actually make and design a virus to accomplish your evil deeds. God help you. So that's what I have to say about the coronavirus, especially a virus to stop a political system from coming into power from Trump. Okay, the guy, look, if it was 4 more years, so what? Is your life going to come apart if he takes over 4 years? And I want to ask most black people, what difference, which a lot of black people's lives have changed as a result of him being in power, and some of the things for the better. But let's say the vast majority of us who really don't care, as long as we can keep our little job and have enough food to make enough money to get our food and then pay for our housing. What difference does it make? Really, it's just leaders come and go, and it's all the same thing, and it's really horrible how some of these political leaders fighting for, and they're not even fighting for political systems to come in to improve the lives of the people. They're actually just fighting for their pocket. You know, how much more money can I get? I can't believe how much money do you need to live, really? And so, and the other thing I'd like to say is that, just for the record, how can you have the audacity to kill all these people? How do you have the audacity to say that you're God and you're better than a black person or a brown person? I'm saying this is for these evil white people, not all white people. You know what I mean, with your eugenics and your eugenics programs. And for some reason, I don't understand why African American or black Americans don't realize it's just the truth. With your family planning buildings and centers spotted throughout black American communities, and millions have died. And I will state that clearly. And being a father, a black American father that raised our 10 children, I didn't ever do everything the best. I tell you what, I wasn't hanging out on the street. I was with all my kids, and I taught them in the way that I felt was best and trained. It may not be according to the atheistic way of the governments now, but I taught them according to the best of my ability. And if you don't like that, because I had crazy things happen to my wife and I when we had gone to hospitals to have kids. People wanted to tire tubes, and that's ignorant. You're being an ignorant. You know what? My kids are awesome. Every single one, even the ones that are not so happy about the way I taught them. And they did a good job, and they're doing a good job, and they're learning, and they're preparing for the next world. So I'm concerned about them. I pray for them often. Just a little touch for you parents. If you taught your kids in the way of God, God will bless you. No matter what they say, you as a parent has been given a responsibility. And I took my responsibility as a father, a black American. I was with my kids, whether I sang out in the street with them or taught them the Bible or grew them up in a Christian way or got very strict. I was. How are you going to handle 10 kids if you don't have some kind of regimented life in a way? It'd be total chaos. Who wants to live in chaos? And you modernists who want your kids to just do whatever they want, whenever they want, how they want, it's stupid. If you want to live in insanity, that's your right. Okay, go ahead. But I personally didn't want to live in insanity with 10 kids, trying to raise 10 kids and living with them all and trying to take care of them. And I'm sure the truth will come out. Whether I did what they thought was right, doesn't matter. I did what I thought was right, and I did what I could. So I love them, every single one. Just in case you all listen to this, those of you who are upset about what I did or didn't do, or I didn't do it right, or tant pis. And you guys know what that means. French, too bad. I did what I could. So I love them. I love you. And I just want to say, I want to salute all you people who are willing to have kids in this crazy society now that we now live. You are doing a wonderful job. And if you are even having kids, that is worthy of recommendation. And I'd like to commend you on the fact that you were even willing to have kids in this crazy, mixed up world that we now live. God bless you, and I commend you on doing a wonderful job and making a wonderful decision. So Shame on you people who are trying to take down the world population and trying to kill us. But I tell you what, we're not going away. And we're here forever. And the God of heaven, Jesus Christ, is going to take care of you and your war on humanity and war on mankind. He is. And soon. And so in conclusion, I'd like to say I hope I was very clear, and I hope you understood clearly what I had to say. And I do pray that it'll sink into some of your hearts. So I'd like to wish you a very nice evening. And I also would like to say that if you have fears and anguish, mental anguish about the world we live in today, I can give you a little tip. Receive the Lord Jesus Christ. Receive him into your life. Ask him to give you clarity of mind in this crazy world and give you contentment of heart and peace. And it's so simple to know him. All you have to do, you could say a little simple prayer. You know, prayer is talking to God. It's communicating with him. It's just saying whatever you feel in your heart, just like you talk to a friend, just like you talk to your wife, just like you talk to your husband. And you could say a simple prayer. Here's something simple. You could say, Jesus, I don't understand you, and I don't understand everything about the world of the spirit, and I don't understand this life, why it's so crazy. But I'd like to have peace of mind. I'd like to have a wonderful, a better, a more secure and stable life. At least peace in my heart and in my mind, and in the mind of my wife or my husband and my family. I ask you to please come into my life and show me how true and how real you are. And if I've done things wrong, if I've committed things against you or others, please, I ask for mercy and I ask you for forgiveness. Come into my heart and give me your gift of eternal life and fill me with your Holy Spirit. As simple as that. Something like that you could say. You could put it any way you want, but just let Jesus know that you want him in your life, and he'll be there. And he's there. Once he's there, he'll never, ever leave you. There's a verse in the Bible. If you start reading the Bible, I suggest you start with the book of John. It has much of the words of Jesus and many of the things he said. And, you know, they're very simple, and it's very easy to understand. Jesus spoke that a child could understand him. So ask him into your life with a prayer like that. And now you can begin a new life. Start reading the Bible. And you can make heads or tails of why the world's so crazy, and you can really begin understanding why the world is so mixed up and the end result, you know. So I'd like to say thanks for listening. If you listen to this whole cast, thank you for listening. I do pray and hope that you will listen to my videos and see more at the Monte Cagle YouTube channel. There's my these are my below me. You can see my sites that I have, and you can get my book. Also, I'd like to tell you to get my book, Racism and the Cure. If you can't make heads or tails of what's happening in the world right now, check out my book, Racism and the Cure. You can get it at montecagle.com, that right there. And go by there and go by the shop and get my book right online at montecagle.com. Hey, we like to also remind you that we have a chat every Sunday at 12 noon. And my wife and I come on. She was on a little bit this week, but we had a big weekend. And we spoke at a lot of places, and we were kind of pooped. So normally stay about another hour or so to talk. But I do pray that you'll listen to the video. Please subscribe. We would love so much that you will subscribe to our channel, the Monte Cagle YouTube channel. And we'd like to reach more people, and we'd like to do a better job of it. And it would be so nice if we could get your input, and you could also hit the bell, ding, for a notification of when we have new things that are coming out. We come out every Wednesday and every Saturday. We definitely have videos, but sometimes I make a little few extra videos like the one I'm doing right now, because I wanted to make it very clear my stance on all these things for the record. And I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I hope you enjoyed the little talk we had, the little chat we had just now. And don't forget, Monty's Chat every Sunday at 12 noon, and every Wednesday we put up new videos. Have a nice evening, and thanks. And I hope you got something from this. See you later, and remember, keep looking up and not down.